It's been a little since the newest Diablo expansion, Lord of Hatred, finally dropped, and I want to answer some questions that I'm receiving multiple times on Twitch streams and over in Discord, just in general, and also just kind of give my 2 cents on what the DLC actually is and if it is worth your hard-earned money. If you played Diablo 4 before and you're looking at getting back into the series, this to me is the best time in a very long time for people to actually invest some time and also their money on an expansion. Comparing the current state of what the launch of base game was, where it suffered with a major connection issue with the servers or overall a basic palette and limited amount of content, I can comfortably say that Blizzard absolutely cooked with this one, and this, in my opinion, is what D4 should have been at launch. I feel like the base game and first expansion, Vessel of Hatred, was more of a setup more for this one to dunk. There is still some tweaks to iron out, and I understand there's going to be a lot of changes from when I make this video to in the future, but speaking of where we're at now, the overall game is at the best it's been since forever. There is a little bit more of a learning curve and some of the endgame content. If you are new, it could be a little bit daunting, but we're going to kind of break it down and show you what is kind of added and give you some pros and cons. And also, I will not be talking about spoilers for the campaign, so you don't have to worry about that here. First thing that I'll mention, if you didn't like the overall game rotation or feel of what D4 gave you with the gameplay loop, I can't guarantee that this DLC is going to save it. The expansion is not going to really change that much. However, I can say that Blizzard seemed to have actually taken into account what a lot of hardcore players and long-term players have really wanted. However, again, at the end of the day, this is still going to have D4 at heart. It's just a lot more fleshed out with some systems throughout the entire game that I feel like we're kind of just missing, and now it feels like we actually have a full course meal. Fun things that they have added is the fact that you can fine-tune and engage in the content that you are wanting to, allowing you to select what content you wish to tackle and progress with. This also includes the new skill tree for all of the classes, not just Warlock and Paladin. Major overhaul here. Skills now have 3 choices. 2, which is your passives on either side, and 1 major choice for the overall skill. You can only have 1 passive per ability on either side though, so keep that in mind. We are currently seeing some really fun builds and just people testing and trying out a whole bunch of stuff, which is the best thing for this game. I really wanted to be able to push for my own Warlock build with the bombardment and minions, because I love minions. And that thing that I kind of put together actually got me through the campaign. Speaking of campaign, let's go over that without any spoilers. The campaign, for once, actually has like a close, like a nice bow, still open, but unlike the Vessel of Hatred and base game, I am not just sitting here saying, where is the rest? I feel like the overall content that we got with the DLC and the overall expansion with Lord of Hatred is very, very good. I did play through the entire campaign on hard, which is also available on this YouTube channel in the live Diablo playlist, which I'll link down below. If you are interested to see any of my reactions to any of that, or just want some background noise whilst playing yourself, that will be available in the description below. Now, I didn't choose the most optimal farming and levels and blah, blah, blah. When going through the campaign, I mainly just stuck to the optimal fun ratio. It was overall not too difficult, but there are some difficulty spikes along the way, so just keep that in mind. If you don't care for the story, then you are missing a major piece of meat for what this expansion is able to give you. You can skip cutscenes though, if you are a little speedster and you just want to get into the heart of the endgame, but I do feel like you'll be missing a major piece of what this DLC actually is. The new areas this expansion add are quite stunning. It's a nice palette swap compared to the base game and what we got in Nahantu, with the Vessel of Hatred being a little bit more grey or green. This is a complete tonal shift, which I absolutely love. I don't want to give too much away, but absolutely stunning. One thing I will praise is also the new base town hub. Having access to everything, including endgame content in one area, is such a quality of life change, which we needed this a lot sooner, I'm not gonna lie. Say goodbye to continent hopping between just to go to the Undercity or the pit, where now it is all just together. It's amazing. I love it. With the endgame, we briefly mentioned it, but I will cover some of the basics as an overview, just to give you an idea of what is here and why I love this so much more than what we've had as an endgame since launch. As mentioned before, with all of it being in one location, we now have a thing called the War Plans table. This bad boy is like a nice roguelike style event path, which you will follow, which gives you a little bit more freedom, customization, and also greater rewards with a leveling system tied to the overall events. You can see here in this gameplay where I kind of just hover over some of the events. I am still kind of early into it, but I wanted to at least get to Paragon 100 before making this video so that I'd at least touched bits and pieces of everything to give you just a general, hey, before you buy this, is this worth your time? And to just kind of answer the frequently asked questions. Some will alter the overall events, and others are just general good gameplay loops that we're already doing with more rewards. So why would you not want to spend the time actually leveling this? I also like that all of them have their own leveling tree and own leveling bar, which is just kind of a nice overall refresher, and you kind of get to choose your own path, which gives another little piece of customization. They have also added back sets. Finally, if you have played Diablo 3 or have any experience, you understand that D4 was missing the big old green pieces for the longest time. If you haven't played previous Diablo games, let me break it down. The set pieces for Diablo 3 and whatnot were mainly tied to having these armor pieces, or pretty much buffs that they would give by wearing so many pieces. If you've played any games that have set pieces or any bonuses for wearing the corresponding pieces, that is pretty much the closest thing to what D3 had, and D4 was kind of lacking. I do feel like they've added them back in a really good way though, which to me, I don't know if you guys will agree, let me know below in the comments, but the big piece here is it's no longer taking away armor slots where everyone's just running the same set pieces. Having it like this on the little amulet stuff makes it more of the customization dream of instead of everyone wearing the same pieces and just pushing the same content, we now get diversity in our builds, which is fantastic for a game like this. Speaking of D3 and going down memory lane, they also added back the cube. That's right, we finally have the cube back. It does work a little bit different, and it isn't really about the passives, being able to create relics, reroll set pieces, and on top of it, making uniques. You can also just reroll and upgrade gear. It's a very good addition to this game. The control that we're kind of seeing from all of these big changes as well kind of come with some really cool build versatility, and it's just overall a good power for the player to have when it comes to actually making choices in how they want to tackle that content. Now it is time to talk about the cons, whether it's from me or the community in general. Let's kind of touch base on that. As mentioned before, if you aren't an overall lover of the gameplay loop or style of this game, the expansion will not sell you or change that. It is still going to be the same game at heart. So if you love D4 and you want more D4, this is going to be amazing because it gives you more control, but otherwise it's probably not going to sell you on it. The microtransactions are still here in the storefront, but I'm not going to really be complaining about that. I know a lot of people don't like that shit, but you don't have to buy or spend money on the battle passes or skins if you don't want to. It's not forced. It is kind of pushed in your face, but I get it. Another quick little side note is a complaint I see in stream or just in general on forums with people talking in the community, which is now the grind, which confuses me for a couple aspects, because some people are talking about the grind for gear can be a lot more tedious and time consuming if you aren't farming with friends or a super cool community, wink wink. And I can kind of get it, but they also did change a major aspect to the dungeons in the game and how they previously worked. The aspects that dungeons would give you for your legendary and overall builds are missing, and now it is more based on a farming and endgame activity mixed with RNG, rather than just a speed farm and day one build. A lot of people did complain that you could just essentially jump in, get boosted, and then go grab exactly what you need and be done with the season or the game. And in a way, I feel like it's just people nitpicking, but you do you, I guess. People wanted the game to last longer, and they wanted a whole bunch of these changes, and now we've got them. But that's it for me. Let me know if you've played it. Let me know if you love it, you hate it, down below in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. We are trying to build an audience here to get monetized over here on the main YouTube channel, so it would mean the world to me if you wouldn't mind doing that. And if you want to see any other types of Diablo or Monster Hunter content next, please let me know. Thank you for watching. Frog bless.